Preston. You're welcome.
So how many of you like mac and cheese? How many of you know how to make real mac and cheese? My man.
That's real.
Men. When I was a kid, mac and cheese was everything. But I really didn't understand what I was missing. Whenever you guys think of mac and cheese, show of hands, how many people normally just think the Kraft mac and cheese?
Yeah, me.
A lot less than I thought. What about Velveeta?
What?
Velveeta, I know.
Well, the whole point of this speech is based on Velveeta, since Velveeta does Shell's mac and cheese, and this is a meeting about shells. So, there we go.
Good to know.
So, I used to think it was Velveeta or the Kraft Shapes mac and cheese, preferably SpongeBob SquarePants, because they do, in my opinion, taste different from the standard little tube mac and cheeses that you normally find. However, my eyes have been opened. I've now found the best recipe for making mac and cheese. It will make even Roscoe's jealous. And Roscoe's makes some really good mac and cheese. Well, and this recipe, which I can send to any of you should you ask, which I will now detail to you, is what I call the definitive mac and cheese. In all times when I'm cooking, I always like to multitask. If I'm working on one dish, I want to get that dish to a spot where it won't need my attention so I can go focus on something else. That way you can really maximize your efficiency. Same goes for mac and cheese. You have to have your cheese working while at the same time boiling your noodles, which, I mean, boiling noodles doesn't sound hard, but sometimes it can be, especially if you don't get the right texture, which in this case would be al dente. So in order to achieve al dente, go get some shells from Whole Foods or Vaughn's, boil some water, put the mac and cheese in there, and then just let it sit and boil for 5-7 minutes. While you're doing that, you need to go grab some heavy milk and get that into a pot and just get that stirring. I recommend also adding 3 tablespoons of flour and mixing that up with a whisk. Slowly, not too fast, but just enough to get the right texture. Once you've fully mixed all the flour in, you need to start adding your cheeses, and this is where things get really fun. So what kind of cheese do you guys normally like? Gruyere, cheddar,
Gouda.
Gouda. There we go. What kind of Gouda? The Gouda from Whole Foods, that spicy dip that they have?
No, not spicy. Oh, yes.
Right?
That one is so good.
Right?
Yeah.
You can add that to your mac and cheese. Yeah, I know. So get any cheese that you feel that you think needs to be in there, and then start mixing that into your cheese milk swirl. Now, cheese has a very interesting consistency, so it may take some time for it to really break down to that cheese sauce that you might be used to, say, in a Mexican restaurant when you get nachos. So be patient and use the whisk to really break it up. Once you've got that working, get your macaroni out of the boiling pot, drain it, and then get a little bake pan for you. I recommend using butter instead of Pam, just because I don't trust Pam. Doesn't seem that healthy for you. Butter seems slightly more healthy for you and tastier. So take a stick of butter and rub the bottom of that pan to make sure it won't stick. Then you put your first layer of shells down. Grab your cheese, which should now be a nice thick viscosity, and pour the first layer of cheese on that mac and cheese. But I'm Italian, so I like layers. Get another layer of those shells and put that on top. And then continue with the cheese and macaroni layers until you've gotten it right at that perfect spot between where you're going to maximize your mac and cheese without overflowing. Then heat your oven to 350. Once the oven's at 350, get some more of the unmelted cheese, and then just break that and sprinkle it on top. So it'll create a nice brown consistency while it's in the oven. I recommend using Parmesan for the top, just because Parmesan usually works better as a top layer as opposed to an actual cheese sauce. Put it in the oven and then let it sit there for 10 minutes, and excuse me, not 10 minutes, it actually takes 35 minutes. And you'll know it's done once you see a nice brown consistency on the golden brown consistency on the top. Pull it out and you're ready to serve. I always recommend serving mac and cheese with green beans and probably some steak or chicken, which would be another story for a different time. Again, if any of this interests you, I do have a recipe I can send you. Please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you.